Welcome, everybody. I'm your host, Coach Mac, and welcome to Turf War. First, maybe official podcast. It depends on how you classify everything. But anyways, today we're just going to be diving deep into the process of football film study and the critical role in preparation for games. But then also, how essential is it for players, coaches, and teams at all levels, from middle school all the way to pro? Okay, so enough of this introduction. Let's just go right into it. So we got the basics of film study, okay? And there's three different types of film that we look at. You have game film, which is your game film. You have practice film, which is alone self-explanatory. And then you also have opponent film, right? And each one of these films is broken down or studied in a different way. All right. When we're looking at a game film, we're looking at what did we do right and what did we do wrong for practice, right? Usually that first practice after a game is we're going to fix the problem, right? Let's say we run a power I, right? Or we're running the ball up the A gap, or we're just running a dive. And let's say our center didn't move the tackle out of the way to allow our fullback to get up to the second level. Like, we have to correct the technique that is being used there so we're able to execute the play properly. Or even if we're in a pass situation, being able to okay, what happened here? Like, why did this pass get picked off? Was it just a great play by the defender, or did we have a miscommunication from coach to player? Practice film is where we get to kind of fine tune everything, right? We get to watch how practice is run, see what we need to fix and how to fix it. Or how to explain something, right? Practice film, in my opinion, is probably the top thing over game film. I would say opponent film, practice film, then game film is my three. And then opponent film, right? And then you have when the team that you're playing sends you their film and how you break that down. So with that being said, opponent film is really depending on what program you're at. But for me personally, when I watch an opponent film, I'm looking for formations. What are their top three formations they like to run? The tendencies of those, is it pass, is it run? And then player movement, right? So I want to find their best player. I want to be able to, all right, if he's lined up in the slot on the right side, they're most likely going to pass to that side, or they're going to have him run across or whatever. Or, okay, their best player is our quarterback. If he's lined up at 4 yards, they're going to hand it off. But if he's at 5, they're passing it, right? Picking up tendencies not only from the coaches, but also the players. Players can tell you a lot about what is going on. And then, formation tendencies, you can look at the field. Look at where they're at on the field. See how they line up if they're inside the 20-yard line or in the red zone. And, all right, they're going to be lined up in a trips right 67% of the time. All right, and out of this, they're going to pass 24%. So they're going to think, they're trying to make us think we're passing and get people out in the box so they're able to run it. All right, just being able to pick up tendencies from coaches' play calling. And we'll talk about this more as the segment and episode goes on. But, Huddle, if y'all know what Huddle is a film study website. It's something that a lot of teams use to be able to exchange film, label film, get data, and it really changed the game. For me personally, I'm able to sit there and run an analysis on a game and figure out, like, on down the distance, are they more likely to run or pass, and what their top formations are, and what they run out of it. Then figuring out if they're on the right hash, they're more likely to pass to the right or the left. And I mean, it's just a whole bunch of stuff, and even motions. Like, when they run motion, are they going to run or pass? They're able to figure out the data and the analysis behind it, so you're able to learn the tendencies a lot easier than trying to sit there and mark, okay, clip 1, they did this, this, and this, and they have to rewrite all the notes. You can do it a lot easier, and it's a lot quicker. Don't get me wrong, I still spend hours and hours on trying to pick up tendencies, or I'm just looking at stuff, even if I've seen it 20 times, just make sure I don't miss anything. I take pride in watching film. It should be a pride thing. Like, you want to become better, so film is a good way to do it. So let's talk about the process, right? So we're gonna break down these steps really from a coach's point of view first, and then a player's point of view, right? As a coach, let's say we're at game 6 and we're about to play some team, and they're going to they'll either send us 1 or 2 game films, or they'll sit there and send us 5, right? And be able to pick and choose what games you want to watch. Sometimes it's difficult, right? But you want to sit there and you want to watch all 6 games. You want to know exactly what's going on. And that's not how it is, right? As the season goes on, changes are made within the program and how certain things are going to be ran. So for me, if let's say we're in week 6 and I'm playing a team, the coach sends me 5 game films, and the only ones I'm looking at are going to be the last 2 games, right? Last one, we're going to pick up a tendency from there. And then the game before that, because they may run some of the old stuff as well, right? I want to pick up get as much done in as little clips, right? So I usually do the last 2 games. Obviously, if we're playing a team that week to week, they're going to change their scheme based on who they're playing, then I'm going to sit there. We're going to have to watch all 6 games. But for the main part, I'm breaking down the last 2. Then when I do that, I start with the first game and I just ODK it, right? Offense, defense, and kicking teams. I ODK it, and then I filter it based on offense and I do defense, and I always label from the offensive perspective, right? You may have coaches that do it from the defensive perspective, and that's okay. All right, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just my personal preference as a offensive-minded coach. I do offense. That's because it's easier for me to visualize it moving forward. But you can also do defense. So I'll sit there, look at the offense first, and I try to label their field zone, meaning are they backed up, are they coming out, are they in the alumni area, are they in the yellow area of the field, are they in the high res zone, low res zone, and goal line. And I break it down like that, along with, all right, what's their formation? Are they in trips? Are they in ace? Are they in wing T? Are they in the I? Are they in pistol? All right, are they in 12 pro, 21 pro? Being able to dictate, all right, this is the formation. Then what are they running, right? Are they going to run an inside zone, outside zone? Are they going to run a flood concept, mesh concept? This based off that. And usually I try to label it based on what our playbook is, right? So then it's easier for the players to kind of see, okay, I see what they're doing here. All right, you want to make it as easy as possible for players. As coaches, you can just label it normally, but I try to label it based on what what we run. If not, then I label it as simple as possible, right? Inside zone, outside zone, flood right, flood left. Make it simple, make it easy. No, there's no need to make it complicated. Okay? Then I label the strength side of the offense, the play direction, and the hash. And that's really what I do for offense. On the defensive side, I look at the defensive front. Are they in a 4-2? Are they in a 4-3? Could it be in a kind of 4-4 like hybrid look or a 4-2-5? Like, what do they like to do defensively? And then I label, if they run a blitz, what that blitz is, right? Based on our blitzes and what it closely aligns to. And then what their coverage is. Are they cover 3, cover 2, quarters, palms? Like, what are they doing on this play? And sometimes it's hard, especially at the middle school or even high school level, because you don't really get to see the play develop sometimes. But at the college and pro level, you should be able to tell a lot easier most of the time, right? And then I go back. After I label all of it, that's when I go back and I just watch the film straight through. Okay, I watch the film straight through. I don't take notes. I'm just watching the film in a sense of trying to get an idea of the flow of the game, right? To be able to understand a team, you have to understand their pace. Are they fast paced? Are they slow? What are they trying to do? Do they try to do off speed, right? They're going to run 3 plays quick and then slow it down for the next 2. What are they trying to do? And then after I do that, that's when I will bring out a notepad or I pull up a Google Sheet and I watch offense first. And I sit there and I look at, okay, they're doing this. Who's their player, right? I try to label who's the player in that build, try to pick up any tendencies from it. If I see, okay, the right guard is going to be shifting, it's going to like set his stance up just a little bit off to the left, and they're going to run outside zone to the left in this formation, I'm gonna try to find every play that I labeled as outside zone and see if it becomes a tendency. If it does, then I circle it, right? Left guard, shift stance left on outside zone left, right? And then after I label that, then I'm able to move on to the next play, right? Or maybe they run outside zone to the right, but this time it's the right tackle, or maybe it's the running back, right? And just trying to pick up something from there. Then I sit there and do the same thing for defense, right? If they're blitzing, what do the linebackers do? Are they jittery, or are they gonna sit there and they're gonna stay in their original stance so the offensive line don't see them as a threat, or are they gonna get right up there on the line and they're gonna let you know, like, I'm coming right in this hole and there's nothing you can do about it? Okay. So that's how, for me as a coach, I'm going in and looking at this. Now, translating this to a player could be difficult, right? Some players you're going to have some players who are going to be really, really high in football IQ, and they're going to understand exactly what you're seeing and exactly what you want them to do. And some players, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, and you're going to have to sit there and spell it out for them. Right? So I mean, it depends on your player. But you have to establish a certain level of expectation from the players as well, and let them know that film isn't a joking matter, right? You are required as a player, your duty to this team and your commitment level also includes off the field work in the film room. Whether it's you're watching it with a coach and trying to learn how to, or if it's by yourself or with teammates. But like, there needs to be a level of expectation for this. And then you also want to do it as a team, okay? You don't want just coaches watching it individually and players watching it individually. Like, coaches as a staff should watch film together, and players with the coaches should watch film together. It should be a common thing day in and day out, whether it's watching practice film, watching game film on Saturday, watching the opponent's film on Monday, whatever it is. It needs to be an expectation. For me, the biggest thing, if let's say you're a brand new player and you're here and you're listening, and you want to know, like, what can I do to better myself in the film room? The biggest tip I recommend is ask questions. If the worst thing a coach can tell you is no. Like, no, that's not right. This is what they did, right? Now you got the right answer, but now you're showing that, okay, I'm invested. I'm invested in not only my personal growth, but in the team growth. And when you're watching, watch for the different type of footwork that players do on the opposing team, or what you do. Kind of the play calling, and defensive alignment, offensive alignment. Just look at the basic stuff, because if you understand the basics, everything else will come with time and preparation with coach. But you have to understand the basics before anything. So biggest tip for players is learn the basics of the game. And then take notes. Learn the basics and take notes. So, I mean, and then for coaches, most coaches understand the concept of film. But if you're trying to dive deeper into what you can do, is literally sit there and slowly do it, right? Don't sit there and rush it. It may take you 2 days, right? You spend 2 hours this day, 2 hours this day doing it, but have purpose in what you do, right? I always say, be consistent in your work so your work is consistent, okay? And the more you do it, the faster you'll get to be able to recognize. And just take notes and whatever you see, right? If you're just a bottom level coach, take notes. Bring it to your head coach. Bring it to your offensive coordinator. Bring it to your defensive coordinator. They're gonna see that you're putting effort forth, right? It's the same as a player. You're trying to elevate your career, and they're trying to elevate theirs, right? So this helps both of you. Don't hide something because you think they'll see it. Just go with it. Okay. Now that's just game film, right? And we have practice film, and practice film is really a personal thing, okay? Practice film is where a player needs to be the most critical, right? In practice, you want to be as perfect as you can, right? We can't coach players to be perfect, but we can at least require and expect perfect effort from these players. And as a player, when you're watching your practice film, be critical, be hard, okay? If you ran the wrong route, why? If you missed a block, why? Figure out why and figure out how to fix it. If you don't, ask. Be like, hey, coach, on this practice film and one-on-ones, I got pressed really bad off the line. Like, what can I do to avoid this situation again? Or I thought about this or this, but I would like to hear your opinion, right? Or if you ran the wrong route, just review the playbook. Like, okay, on blue, I'm going to run a hitch. But on this one, I ran blue angel. And just get back in your study group. Okay? You gotta be hard on yourself as a player, right? Especially if you have aspirations to play at the next level. There isn't a time where you're not going to be like, oh, I played really good this game. Even in the wins, right? Celebrate your win. But still, be hard on yourself. Be like, okay, I could be better. Okay? Don't just think there's a capping point on your potential. But there never is. Okay? So, and same with coaches, right? You gotta self-analyze every week, right? Self-analyze how your play calling was. If you're a position coach, what do your receivers do that you need to help them improve on, right? Or what do you not focus on enough that then shows out in film? Okay, be critical in your work as well, not just the players. All right, that's how you learn. You learn best by watching. And it's hard and it sucks, but it is what it is. All right, at the end of the day, it is what it is. We ain't nobody gonna sit there and hold your hand. Ain't nobody gonna sit there and be like, it's okay. All right, no, be critical in it. Okay. For the next part, right? So let's recap real quick, right? We talked about the basics. We talked about the process. All right, now player engagement and learning. We kind of already went into that, right? So, I mean, as a player, it's hard, right? You want to enjoy the lights and the play with your friends and all this, but I mean, there's a whole bunch of different aspects that goes in to it, and I mean, you can sit there and not watch film and stay the same player you are. Okay. Or you can not watch film and be a great athlete on the field. But imagine how much better you could be with the football IQ. Just take pride in what you're doing. Okay. All right. And then once you watch film, visualize what you would do better or what will you do against this coverage. And then go out there and perform it. Work it in practice. And then put it to use in the game. I mean, that's all I got for players' engagement and really learning. It's difficult to really talk about it. Just because it's not done by a lot of people. There's a reason why D1, D2, D3 players are as successful as they are after high school is because they took pride in what they do. So, but advanced techniques and trends, right? So as time has moved on and like technology has grown, we have been able to start getting a lot more data and metrics into the game, right? That we never had before. We're able to see, okay, this quarterback probably max throwing power is about 50 yards, right? So there's no need for us to cover 50 yards downfield. If a player wants to run that far on our team, by all means, bye. Okay? I mean, you see it with next-gen stats in the NFL. Right? Next-gen stats. You're able to see how fast a player runs. Okay? Obviously, we probably don't have that at the high school level, but you may have that in the college level, depending on where you are. But then we're able to see a lot more data that goes into what is what. I mean, it's kind of remarkable if you really think about it on all the things we now can figure out. Now, film in practice. All right. So I'm not talking about film, like the act of practicing watching film, but like the actual football practice players are out on the field and how film correlates to that. Okay. If you're at a big school or you have enough players, you usually try to run a scout team against your starting O or your starting D. And if you have film, you can sit there and develop a scout team look on different fronts, different formations, and this and that to be able to get your players to start visualizing what's going to happen. All right, if we know against trips that a defense is going to run quarters, right? Have them work it in practice. Have you run trips with your offense, whatever play call it is, and have the scout D run quarters and have them work against it. Figure out as a team what works, what doesn't work, how we can adjust in game and in practice, and be able to work it. And same with the defense, right? If you know that they like to run out of trips, then you can adjust your game plan to probably running as a simple cover 3 or whatever, right? Whatever your school is. All right, but you still got to cover the trips, or running a zone blitz. Okay? And I mean, it's really cool to see it in action, but that's not why we're here. We're not going to talk about how cool it is. So let's talk about the importance of starting to, if you're a coach or even a player, starting to develop the habit of watching film. All right. So if you're a youth player in Pee Wee, obviously it's not going to really matter to you. But once you get into middle school, right, if your middle school has film, you want to watch as much as you can, right? I know some middle schools don't do film, and that's okay, right? You can ask if you're at a school where you can talk to the head coach for the high school, see if you can get on their high school huddle and see if you can watch film from them and start learning how to, right? Be able to develop the patience and the attention span and the attention to detail when watching film, right? That's all you're doing, right? I don't want you to sit there and write down, all right, ace, they're going to run outside zone, the right tackle is going to chip the end and then move up to the linebacker and is like, no. Okay? I want you to just build the attention span and the attention to detail at the middle school level. All right, you can even do it at youth if your coaches are intense, or not. Let's say intense. Intense is the wrong word, but your coaches want you to be better and they have film. Absolutely, go for it. Absolutely, go for it. All right, I think it's good for all ages. Okay, now once you get into high school, okay, and as you get into high school, it's gonna be depending on your program. It could be a slow process of film or a very no process of film. Okay? Like only the coaches at varsity watch film, not the freshmen or the JV team. But learn, if you're a freshman and you guys don't watch film, still start building habits that are good, right? Keep developing the attention to detail, any attention spans, any patience, right? That's a constant theme as we go into it. But now maybe start writing out formations, right? All right, they're going to run ace, and then ace, and then ace, and then trips. Why did he run? Oh, okay. Because they're on the, they're running trips left because they're on the right hash. Okay. All right, ace, ace, ace. All right, you start writing out formations, right? and start developing, okay, all right, is it a run or a pass? Okay, out of this formation, run or pass. Don't do anything else. Run or pass. Simple, right? Very, very easy. Formation, run, pass. And then maybe the next year, you add the, what hash and field area they're in, right? Are they on their own 40? Are they and what hash are they on, right? So now you're learning, okay, they're gonna most likely, if they're on the left hash, they're most likely gonna run to the left, and if they're gonna pass, they're gonna pass to the right. Okay, it's simple. Okay, a lot of teams are gonna end up passing to the left because their quarterback arm isn't that strong, but that's besides the point. All right, stay on topic, Coach Schmeck. All right, now you're a junior. Now you've developed this habit of attention to detail, patience, and attention span. To now you're understanding formation and if it's a run or pass or what hash. Now by junior year, if you're on varsity, now you can bring in what the coaches are doing into your film study. But by that, they should be sharing film to you, and it should be labeled on what's happening. Okay. So if they're coming in and let's say you get film on Monday morning from ABC High School, right? That's the school you're playing, and it's labeled 1st and 10, right hash. They're they're coming out. They're in trips right, and it's labeled flood right. Strong is to the right, the play direction is to the right. Now, you've already done, you should understand 1st and 10. You've done the coming out part, right? The field zone, like where they are on the field. You've done the hash. You've done the formation and the run or pass. All you're adding in here now is strength, which is usually being able to tell what strength your offense is in, and what play it is now, right? And where it's going, okay? Which is usually told in the play itself, all right? So you're really only adding 2 things on top of everything you've already learned. So now you're a junior, and you know all this stuff. So now you can develop that. So by the time you're a senior, you have all this ability to watch a play overview. Now you can start watching player overview, where you can sit there and you built your attention span, you built the patience, you built the attention to detail. All right. Now you sit there and be like, okay, on this play, I'm gonna watch the quarterback. Or if I'm a receiver, right, I don't care about the D line or really the linebackers. Sometimes I want to see what the safety's doing and what the corner's doing. Okay, how do they react? What tendencies can I pick up? If they're gonna stay in flats, what are they gonna do? If they're gonna bail out on me, what are they doing? So I know how to run my route if according to what route I'm given on a certain play. All right, or if you're a quarterback, you can okay, I know that if we're running flood, I need to read the corner first, and then look at the linebacker. If the corner bails, you know that automatically they're in cover 3 or even a quarter's look on that side. But if he sits, you may have a comeback or a whole shot there or whatever, right? And then for D-line, right, or O-line and D-line, you're looking at, okay, what is the offensive line or defensive line doing in these different scenarios? Like, what is their footwork like? What does this player like to do a pull and rip? Do they like to do bull rush? Are they a swimmer? Like, what, or do they spin? Like, what is their go-to type of thing? I mean, they're going to pull it out. I mean, young athletes go to what they're comfortable with, okay? Take away what they're comfortable with and put them in an uncomfortable situation in a game. Uncomfortable situation creates frustration. And when you create frustration, you win. All right? So I mean, that's how you can develop. And then once you're into college and professional, they'll develop you in more ways on the film than you've already done on your own. Or maybe they'll add to what you know, right? Hey, on this field zone, what do they like to do the most, right? It may just be as simple as that. Okay, or they may start saying, now look, you can look at the sideline and see, all right, if this coach raises his right hand and holds and does like a strong side, all right, that's it, right? Then we know they're going to run to the right, okay? It adds, right? You can get a lot from film, not only from on the field, but in the sidelines, all right? Now, overall, okay, let's wrap this episode up. All right. The best thing I can tell you for coaches, for players, for even fans of the game, to understand the game, you have to understand the behind the scenes of the game. Film study is a huge part in what coaches and players do to be able to perform on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday if we're talking about pro. All right. Film provides probably more information to a team than practice does. Okay. All right, and without film, success on the field is limited. All right, obviously, actually, no, I'm not gonna say obviously, because they had film back then too. Their film was people went and watched the game and wrote down what they saw. All right, that was the film. All right, now we're able to do it online in the comfort of our own bed, our own house. All right, nothing's changed. It's just technology, right? Okay? But film study is important to success, not only on the field, but in the development of coaches and players. Okay? Guys, I want to encourage you to dive deeper on your own. All right? Dive deeper into what actually goes on into film study. Do some research about it. There's plenty of articles out there that teaches you how to watch film, but it also tells you what film provides to a team. I want you to dive deeper into it and then let me know what you find. Did I miss anything? Do I need to talk about this again? All right? Do we want to talk about there's a certain topic within film? Okay, let me know. Okay, my email address is going to be right there in the bio. So please feel free to contact me at any time. All right. And next episode, guys, it's gonna be a tough one. Okay, but we're gonna talk about tough love with any sport. All right. Tough love with any sport. But anyways, thank you so much for tuning in on the quote-unquote first ever Turf War podcast. Guys, I am your host, Coach Mac. All right. Please, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button down below so you don't miss out any videos. If you're here watching on a podcast, make sure you hit that subscribe button or that follow button, whatever you want to do. And stay tuned for the next episode. And make sure you go follow the Facebook page. Anyways, guys, we're done.